Hi, Melvin with Oxy-Dry. And boy, oh boy, what's going on here? Hang on a sec. Let me show you something. Um, over the years, many years ago, well, I guess about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, my mainstay air cleaning machine was this Stepson, which is this one sitting right here. And this is the pad driver for it. It's off of it right now, obviously. And I actually have two of these. One sitting in the van. It's my backup for the Oreck. And the Oreck we were using yesterday. Myself and my buddy Roger were doing a big commercial job, and I just emptied my van of all my commercial equipment and jugs of solution sitting over here, etc. And my dolly, which is there, and then another one right there. So that was all in the van, and all this has to go back in for my normal setup for residential all day long. So let's talk about the Oreck machine. Now, when you get an Oreck machine, the drive block or pad driver you get with it looks like this, but except on this side there's a bunch of teethies that stick out, these round things, and they'll tear your pads apart. So what you want to do is get the Velcro from Damon at End Cap Store, and you can glue that in place. I use Goop, works really well, so that's what you want to do. Let's talk a little bit about the Oreck. We had an issue with my Oreck yesterday. The wire, I can't put this back the way it was because that'll fall. I've got it all disconnected now. But where the wire comes out of the motor on the other side here, is the handle goes up and down, particularly when you drop over the steps. There's a flexing of the wire where it goes through the machine, flex, and over time the wire inside will start to break. And I've had that happen just on this one. I actually had it happen on my older one, which is sitting right here. That's all repaired, and now it's my backup. And so this is a normal wear point on these machines, and other machines could have the same even vacuums where the wires come out of the vacuum. It's not uncommon to, wherever you got a wire that's flexing, you do that for months and months and months on end, it's going to break eventually. So what I did is I took off that sits right there. Undo your 4 screws. That comes off. Then you see this. This plate sits here. There's a couple of screws here, and then this long bolt. That long bolt sits right down in there, goes right through the motor, and actually is what's holding the motor in place. And so you don't have to take you don't necessarily have to take the whole motor off or out, but I am in this case, and I'll show you why in a sec. There was a bunch of carpet fiber in here. I just vacuumed that all out of there. So I undo the 3 screws here. This plate comes off, and voila, we have the relay. This is a relay switch. So what happens is when you turn the motor on up there at the handle, it powers this relay switch. This relay switch then closes the connection. There's an arc that occurs, connection. There's like points in there, and then the motor spins. However, in here where the relay is, on my older machine, it started acting up, and I took it to a vacuum repair shop. And although you can probably replace this relay, they actually were able to, I guess they opened it up, and he said they filed the points and put it back together, and it works. But I just use that as my backup machine now. So that comes out. That's out of the way, and now you've got a black, and then the yellow wire, I am assuming, where does it go? Into the motor. Oh, well, it'll be the other part of the circuit here. That's all it is. So this is the power comes from the switch, goes into the motor, and this is the return on your completing the circuit, because that is black. Oh, the white one is right here. Where does the white one go? Motor. Oh, yes, here we go. This is the, what am I doing? Okay, I snipped this off. This is the wire coming in, and I think the break is right about where my finger is. So the white that's the common, goes into the motor. Black one goes here, goes through the relay and into the motor. And I'm not sure what that one would be for. Okay, maybe some of you more electronically savvy guys can tell me what that is. But anyway, you get the point. So what I'm going to do is, this is the where the wire goes through the body of the machine, and there's a little clampy device. This thing. These things are actually quite easy to take out. What it does is it sits in there like that. The wire goes through. When you want to get them out, you take your needle nose pliers and you squeeze this, and you can wiggle it and pop out. And then this pulls open. There you go. Anyway, so when I go to put it back, it'll just go back in the reverse. Easy to do. So what I'm going to be doing now is this wire is here. So now I'll be, I'm going to have to splice in to the, the ground I pulled out already. I was like, where'd the ground go? There's the ground right there. So I'll splice into the ground, and then these two wires, I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to splice into these ones over here too, just to keep the length as much as I can. And I'll put it all back together. I'll probably solder it and use heat shrink and put it all back together, and it'll be good to go for another 2 or 3 years, I expect, as long as nothing else happens. So if you're a person who's maybe just getting into carpet cleaning, and you're thinking maybe I should start up with the Oreck, more power to you. They're a great little machine, certainly to begin with. I use mine virtually every day, although I'm almost only ever going to use it on steps. I might use it on an occasional really small job if I'm doing like 1 bedroom in-house up on the top of a set of stairs or whatever. Absolutely no problem at all. You can certainly even use one of these machines on a full-time basis. There's people that do. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, and that's what you're able to do. They're inexpensive to buy. They're quite light. You can pick them up so easily. I think they're 38 pounds, I think, or something. I do recommend you go beyond that if you want to get some better production volume numbers, because these are not that you can't do it. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So if you want to upgrade from the Oreck, you can get the 13 or 15 inch swirly from the end cap store, or the 13 inch Koblenz is a good choice. There's quite a number of guys that are going that route now, realizing that the rotaries are an excellent choice and will out clean an OP. Did I say that? Yes, I did. On residential, at least. We can argue about that another day. But anyway, it's kind of the way things are starting to go. Back to rotary, I think. Oh boy, them's fighting's words, aren't they? Anyway, I'm just doing this simple repair to the Oreck. That's not a fault of the Oreck. It's just a fact that where you have a wire that's constantly moving, the wires will eventually break. Metal fatigue in that the copper wire will eventually win, and the wires will start to break, and you'll have a bad connection. Things won't work, but these things are always repairable. So anyway, this is of course the counterweight with a nice big bearing. I've never replaced a bearing, never had an issue with a bearing. You can replace the bearing, by the way. That would just be you can take that bearing into a auto parts place, and I'm sure you'll easily find a replacement bearing. To get this off, by the way, you would have to undo that screw, I think. But anyway, no need. Anyway, so that's my thoughts about the Oreck. That's the repair I'm doing today, and I'll put in the comments if I was actually successful. I expect I will be, but we'll see. But anyway, I'll let you go, and I'm gonna try to enjoy my sunshine. I already cut my lawn earlier. Yeah, I'll show you my lawn. Took a real beating this summer with the heat. We were up to over 40 degrees here for a week or two, and I had to put some topsoil in that area there and reseed it there and over there too, and oh well. Doesn't matter. There's our little desert garden. We call that the coffin. There was actually a tree there, a big root there, so I just covered it over with dirt and gravel and planted a bunch of stuff there to cover it up, rather than try to get that big huge root out of it there that was from a massive 20-foot high shrub that was here. Anyway, that actually got destroyed by wet snow in the winter and split the trunk and everything. It was crazy. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing today, and hopefully this will be a useful kind of a video for those of you who might run into a problem with your Oreck misbehaving. That's a common, I think that's a pretty common problem to come across. I'll only be able to get maybe one repair out of this particular wire, because if it gets too short, then it interferes with its ability to drop down over the bull nose, and if it came to that, then I'd have to replace the wire all the way up to the switch up here. But hopefully I won't get to that point, and it'll be all worn out before that gets to there, and I'll just buy a new one, because they're not that expensive. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, and have a good day. Bye now.